love Amy Adams, though. She rules.
A big one that I watched in the midst of everything going on, it's kind of ironic, The Rental.
I heard that was really good.
Yes, it is a very masterful directorial debut from Dave Franco. Surprising stuff here going on here. I think you'd really like it, man. It's
that was. I heard really good things about it, and that was a trailer that really intrigued me.
It's got a solid score.
That's definitely there.
75 on Rotten. Great cast. Alison Brie, Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens. Susie's mortal enemy.
For some reason, I do not. It all stems back to the guest, man.
The guest is awesome.
It's funny how much she hates him because he just keeps popping up in more and more stuff. You know, she loves Beauty and the Beast, not the live action one, but then he just was cast as the Beast, and it's hilarious how that keeps happening. But yeah, The Rental, very solid. It's basically, you know how every so often you have like these films that touch on these kind of unsolicited fears that we have. Mm-hmm. Well, this one tackles something that hasn't really been done before, Airbnbs and how they can be dangerous. And that's all I can really say without spoiling too much. I definitely don't want to spoil it for you because I think it's this one is a film that you want to. I know you said you saw the trailer, but it's good. The less you know, the less you know about the plot, the better for you in the end.
And that's usually how I like to go in too.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you and I have talked many times about how a lot of trailers just want to spoil everything. And so there's no mystery and there's no surprise later on. So it's pretty great not really knowing a whole lot about a movie and going in and going on this journey that the movie's going to take you on.
So The Rental, unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere. You're going to have to most likely drop a couple dollars either to rent it, or if you're somebody who buys films digitally, you can probably get it for a decent price. What about you, man? Anything that you... I feel like I just said a bunch of stuff.
Nah, you had a few.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got more.
I do.
Well, as we've mentioned a few times before, I got really into Turner Classic Movies about 18 months ago. Mm-hmm. I think that all started, I was watching a documentary series just on Hollywood and on film. So they're, you know, obviously taking you on this history of film. And so I'm seeing a lot of stuff, older stuff, that I had never seen before, or that, you know, I knew by reputation or pop culture, but had never actually seen. So I thought, well, you know, maybe I should make more of an effort to check these things out. So that's when I got into the Turner Classic Movies thing. And, you know, sometimes movies are great and you come across them and I love them and I see why they're a classic. And sometimes it's kind of a letdown. And I don't know if that's because the movie really isn't as good as it's made out to be, or if, you know, my modern mentality of film and movie watching kind of colors that opinion of it. But I still stick with it. I still watch it constantly. Still record a ton of stuff off of it and get into it. So, I've seen a ton of great stuff in the shutdown during the pandemic. But one director whose work I really want to highlight is Billy Wilder. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with his work or if any of your listeners are familiar with his work. But he was an Austrian-born filmmaker. He worked as a journalist. He was a screenwriter in Berlin. But he was Jewish, so as the Nazis were taking power in the early 30s, he fled Berlin for Paris and then later Hollywood. And unfortunately, I think most of his family perished in the Holocaust. I know his mother, his grandmother, his father or stepfather perished in the Holocaust. But he left before all that happened, because he could see what was going on. And he went out to Hollywood and continues his career in screenwriting, and then by the early 1940s, he starts directing, and he becomes this one of the most prolific directors in the old Hollywood era. And I had only seen 2 of his films prior to this. I had seen Sunset Boulevard, which I love. Have you seen Sunset Boulevard?
Sunset Boulevard, no. I know what it is, though.
It's just a little, in a nutshell, it's like a struggling writer, gets involved with like a faded movie star, and that kind of turns deadly. The movie star is a little unhinged. Mm-hmm. It's like a fantastic, kind of gonzo performance from Gloria Swanson, who plays the movie star. That's one of the classic old Hollywood kind of noir films. But that I love, and the only other one I had seen from Billy Wilder was Some Like It Hot, which is one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. And one, in my opinion, what I think is one of the greatest comedies of all time. And for everyone that just knows Marilyn Monroe by her reputation as kind of like the sex pot, mm-hmm. she was a really good actress and a fantastic comedic actress. And it really shows in Some Like It Hot. So I highly recommend that one if no one has seen it. But I started watching all these other Billy Wilder films because either they play them from time to time, or every now and then, like it's somebody's birthday, an actor, actress, director's birthday or something. So they play all day long, or just playing nothing but, these people's movies. Mm-hmm. So I saw like 6 or 7, and maybe 5 or 6. I'm trying to count on my hands in the dark here. Of his other movies that were fantastic. There's a movie that he made called The Lost Weekend, which is about a writer in the depths of alcoholism, which is really good. And I even reading up on it, it kind of gave this really harsh look at what being an alcoholic was. That the liquor industry tried to ban the movie, or tried to prevent the movie from being released because they were afraid it was going to lead to a second prohibition. That one was good. There's another movie called Ace in the Hole with Kirk Douglas, where he plays like a washed-up reporter that kind of stumbles onto this story about a man that gets trapped in a cave while he's looking for artifacts. And because Kirk Douglas's character wants to use this story to kind of bring him back into prominence and get a job with another big city newspaper, he impedes the rescue effort in order to prolong the story so he can keep writing about it. That was great. The 70-Year Itch I watched, which is about a guy his wife and son go off to someplace for vacation for the summer. Mm-hmm. And this guy meets his charming and beautiful upstairs neighbor, who is Marilyn Monroe, and he starts contemplating, having a romantic relationship with her while his wife and son are away. And he doesn't. In the end, he decides that, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to stay with his wife. But that's a really funny movie, and that's the movie that Marilyn makes with her in the white dress standing over the subway grate. That's where that image is from. It's from that movie, The 70-Year Itch. What else did I see from him that was good? Oh, a movie called The Apartment with Jack Lemmon. He's an insurance clerk. He's got like this really awesome apartment, this really big apartment, and he lends it out to the senior coworkers at his job so that they can carry on extramarital affairs. Mm-hmm. And he's doing this as a means to hopefully climb up the corporate ladder. And then he meets this beautiful and fun elevator operator in his insurance building, the job that he works at, and it's Shirley MacLaine. And he really starts falling for her, and then he finds out that she's the mistress to his boss. So he doesn't want to get involved with her because he's trying to use his boss and this connection with the apartment to get a promotion. But in the end, they realize that they really love each other and they want to be with each other. So that's where that one goes. I think the last one I saw from Billy Wilder that was great is Double Indemnity, which is one of the classic film noirs. And that was about an insurance salesman that plots with a woman to kill her husband so they can collect on the insurance money. Because he's an insurance salesman, he kind of knows all the tricks so that they can avoid being investigated for insurance fraud. So he knows all the tricks on how and when and where to kill this guy to collect on the life insurance policy that he has. And that's fantastic. So what are those, 5 movies?
I think a few years ago, obviously the Ken's closed now, but I think I saw that last one at the Ken.
Did you actually see it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good, right?
Yeah, no, it's a great film.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the classic film noirs. It might have been one of the first ones. Just the way that it's shot and the lighting, the framing device. So those 5 movies from Billy Wilder that I saw that I hadn't seen before, like The Apartment and Double Indemnity, I highly recommend to anyone who I recommend all of them, but especially The Apartment and Double Indemnity. And like I said before, like if you haven't seen Sunset Boulevard or Some Like It Hot, definitely check those out. So that's Billy Wilder. He was super prolific. He made 20 other movies, 30 other movies that I'll watch when they come across. But they were playing a bunch of his movies over the course of 1 week, so I watched a bunch of them. That's my main Turner Classic Movies bit. And another one that I saw that I really, really loved that I had never seen before, had always wanted to, was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
You watched it for the first time?
I watched it for the first time. I'd never seen it.
What'd you think?
Oh God, it was great. It's a Western, but Newman and Redford are so fucking good together that the movie almost plays better as a comedy, as a buddy comedy. There's honestly not a whole lot of Western stuff in it, but they're both so good. And I was surprised by how funny it was. And that was a movie that I had always wanted to see, had never seen, got the chance to see it. Now it's one of my favorites. I have others. We can talk about them in a moment, but I want to kick it back to you.
The Bill and Ted Face the Music came out over the summer.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched that at home, even though it did have like a sort of a theatrical release.
I think it did in places that were open. In San Diego, unfortunately, wasn't a place that was open yet. But that was really good. Yeah,
I mean, are you a fan of the other two?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you love those, I feel like this was very much in tune with the original films. It reunited Keanu back with Alex Winter. They still look great, like they're taking care of themselves. And then basically the story is that they're having kind of like a midlife crisis, and things aren't really going right for them. And then they're told that if they don't write this one like this special song